one that does the dishes and takes the trash, because if you don't, it's not going to happen, okay? That's a little bit of advice. She doesn't even want to go. A couple of things that I learned from being married to my beautiful wife, Tanya, over the years with regard to communication, and many husbands can probably attest to this as well. Communication is a big thing that makes or breaks marriage, good communication. And I'm a communication major in undergrad, and I still mess it up pretty bad. But one of the things that I learned from Tanya is when they tell you, Andrew, it's fine, it's not fine.
It's not fine.
A second thing, it doesn't matter where we eat, you choose. That's a trap, okay? Because what's going to happen is she's going to reject all the suggestions that you provide, and you're ultimately going to end one where she wants, okay? And last but not least, one of my favorite ones that my wife says, and my kids can attest to this, do whatever you want. It does not mean do whatever you want. Alright? So there's some communication advice for marriage. I'm more serious note though. Last night's for this winter, big thank you again to Kyle and Heather for putting that on. It was a blessing to hear from my daughter's peers that have been with her for the last 3 years of college. And to hear some of the things that I already know about her, but just to know that it's being lived out beyond our walls at home. And it was such a blessing to hear the encouragement that you gave her and Andrew both together. Andrew, I have 3 character traits about Erica that you should know. And you probably already know these things. Number 1, Erica is committed. You're stuck in this, okay? You're committed for life with my daughter. She's in it for the long haul. From having a desire to learn and play the guitar early on in life, to being a second-degree black belt along with my son Charlie in Taekwondo, never giving up, to now, guys, number 8 national champion for the ladies 5. Okay, I'm going to just say All-American, but she's a national champion. National champions. Anyway, she's committed, and one of the things that she used to do to me to show that commitment is she would wait up for me at nighttime. I'd oftentimes get home late at night from an appointment, and my daughter would be pretending to sleep in the bedroom, but she'd be there waiting for me to come in and tuck her in, sing a good night song, or say a prayer with her, or just chat with her. She was always committed to staying up, and she was also always committed to saying goodbye to me. She still does this thing where when I'm leaving, she just gets on the street and waves until I get down to the end of the street. She's waving. When I go to the corner, she's waving. She's committed. So that's one of the first things you're going to know about my daughter. A second character trait about Erica is she, it can be something in a story that happened. I've told this story before to several people, but we live in a town that has a lot of dirt in it. Nuevo's got fields, farm fields, and there's this weed that grows in Nuevo, but I don't know if it grows anywhere else, called the goat head. And if, hell is a place where goat heads can all for help, okay? It has got a critter that can, go through a 1-inch thick shoe. It's horrible. And it drops hundreds of them. We didn't have that in Orange County growing up. So our first year being there in Nuevo, of course, I'm like, oh, look at all those cool green plants growing in our backyard, right? Not only did I know that, but they were dropping literally thousands of these horrible critters all over our backyard. So I had to spend weeks, literally shoveling out, this layer thick, inches thick of dirt to get all the goat heads out, because we'd never be able to walk in our backyard with bare feet, ever. And there's this one cute moment where Erica, we're having breakfast, and she's standing by the back door, and she's looking out over our backyard, just so intently. She's got her sippy cup, and she's just looking. And I said, honey, what are you staring at? And she just takes a little sip, and she says, dirt. And that was just the cutest thing that I could ever hear her say. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I know we're working on getting grass. All she saw was dirt in the backyard. But that points out the second characteristic is Erica loves speaking the truth. She will tell you the truth. When I finally met you in person, that day that you came out, Christian Break in 2022, you had already kind of felt like a son to me because we got to sort of know each other. I had heard about one guy from the commitment. I had heard about, Erica tell me, hey, there's this guy that I'm talking to, and his name's Andrew. She wasn't asking for my permission, but at the same time, she had just kind of mutually left another relationship, and she says, it almost feels like it's too soon. And I talked to her and I encouraged her, I said, no, you're in a new relationship right now, but she was, for her to bring this guy up, I knew that she was going to be committed to this guy, that she said, he loves Jesus. And we go to the same church, and we go to the same school, we have the same beliefs. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome, go for it. So the commitment's there, telling the truth's there as well. I also knew that I could, when we get to know each other better over the years, I still have a lot to learn about you. We're going to spend a lot of time traveling, I'm sure. We love to do that as a family. And I look forward to coming out to visit you guys and knowing you better. But on the call, when she finally said, one of these calls that I got from Andrew said, hey, come out for spring break. Can I talk to you and Tanya privately? That's this call that every dad's like, right? Well, that wasn't me. I was just like, yeah, I knew what he was going to talk about. I'm like, Tanya, Andrew wants to talk to us privately. What do you think he wants to talk about? Right? And of course, we set up a little special meeting with Doug. Have you said hi to Doug yet?
I said hi, Doug. Hi, Doug.
Okay. That was the last time you'd seen Doug, so Doug had a special place in his heart. And we had to kind of set this up to where Erica didn't know why he was leaving the house. I think you were trying to help me with some stuff. And he was there to ask. And he's, of course, sweating bullets. And he asked for permission to marry my daughter, to have my daughter's hand in marriage. And, of course, I didn't just jump in and say yes, but I didn't go into the traditional, hey, what are your intentions with my daughter? Because I already knew this man was a man of God. And I just wanted to find out, hey, how do you plan on leading my daughter to Christ? How do you plan on guarding her heart? And I don't remember what he specifically said, but I liked it. And that's why we're here today, okay? So, anyways, finally, Erica, a third thing about Erica is she's filled with joy. And you guys, if you witnessed that today, she could not stop giggling at the altar. She could not stop bouncing up and down. She's filled with joy. And it's a joy that can't be contained. And that's something you're going to have to know about her. She's going to be really bouncy. Really jumpy, okay? She loves the Lord, and she's madly in love with you. And I love that. I love the fact that she's chosen to spend her life with somebody that she's passionately in love with. I looked it up, Erica. 7,748 days ago, you changed our lives. You came into our life and made me and Mama a daddy and a mommy. And that literally, you guys all know the responsibility if you're a dad that you have, or a mom, when you leave the hospital carrying your child. You're like, wow, this weight and this burden of, I've got to take care of this life. I'm responsible for a life now. And at the same time, I had this overwhelming peace because I knew that God would be with us. There's a verse in 1 Samuel where Samuel had defeated, his armies had defeated the Philistines. And he sets up this rock and he calls it Ebenezer. He calls it the Ebenezer rock. He says, thus far the Lord has helped us. And we've had the Ebenezer rock that I found out in Hills of Nuevo years ago when we first got our Jeep. We sit in front of our house. And that's our rock because we know thus far the Lord has helped us. We can't do it on our own. We need the Lord's help in our lives. And he's helped us along thus far. And we're looking forward to what he's going to do for you guys. Andrew, Tanya and I have been praying for you and for your family since before Erica was born. There was I was the first person to hold her in my arms. She was a surprise. We didn't know that she was going to be a girl. I was one of those people that always dreamed about finding out when my child was born. I went gate surprises, so I had to do a lot of selling to get her to agree to do this. But she agreed to, okay, for this one, we won't find out. And so, waiting with anticipation for her to be born, finding out she's a girl, and then holding her for the first time. But I would sing to her when she was in the womb, and I would play the guitar, and I would talk to her, we both would. And I remember after they weighed her and they put her on the pan, on a little blanket. She sat there just screaming her eyes out, right? And dads, we know this. We're the first ones to get to see our kids and hold them. And I was able to start singing songs to her that I was singing to her while she was in the womb. And I remember her stopping crying and looking over at me and just with her gray eyes, and her beautiful brown eyes now, but they were gray at the time, just staring at me going, this is my dad. And that weight that you experience when you're a father, knowing that you've got a life that you're going to carry for the rest of your life. You guys, I'm going to finish up with this. It's been a privilege to be my kids' youth pastor growing up. Advice for a godly marriage seems very, very simple, and it really is that simple. There's 3 things that we're called to do as believers, but also it'll help anyone else out in life. Read the Word daily, pray daily, and fellowship every single week with people of like-minded beliefs. You guys, read, pray, fellowship. Okay? Those things there are awesome. They're going to keep you growing your faith. You need to have other people around you. You need to have the truth in your heart. You have to have a relationship with Christ as you communicate with Him through prayer. There's this cliche term that says, put God first. And I know what people mean when they're trying to say, put God first in your marriage. Put God first in your relationship. But I like to word it differently because I don't think we can put God anywhere. God already is first. Our constant struggle in life is to acknowledge that He is already number one. And that we have to see Him in every part of life. We learn to worship God as we spend time with each other, as you hold hands, as you go on walks, as you look into each other's eyes. Those are all part of worship because God created marriage. And He created you guys to be together. He ordained this day for you guys to be together. Andrew, you fell in love with Erica, and I know that. I see it in the way you look at her. I showed you the picture today. There's this picture that was taken by April, and it was awesome. Like, it captured that love that the dad has for his daughter. She's got her eyes closed, and he's just looking down into her heart. And I was like, man, that's awesome. I sent you that picture. I think, I'm like, this is the one, this is the guy. This man loves you. He sees you for who you are. You're beautiful on the outside. And I told you this before you walked down the aisle. He sees you for your inner beauty. He read his vows, and he read you to me. Another tongue twister. And everything was about who you are as a person inside. And I'm so grateful to call you my son, Andrew. And I'm so grateful for all of us being able to be here to celebrate. I'd like to have a toast. I don't have anything to toast with. We're going to do this with water. Didn't bring anything up. Grab something to toast with, or an empty bottle. Yeah, empty beer bottle. The Bible says there's 3 things that were named: faith, hope, and love. This is what we're going to toast to tonight. Okay? May your faith be bolstered as you read daily, as you pray daily, and you fellowship weekly with other believers. May your hope be in Christ alone, as He alone is the way, the truth, and life. And finally, may your love for each other be the same love that Christ had for the church, because He was willing to die for the church. To Andrew and Erica.
Andrew!